Hey guys, this video is for daily problem 1.4 for my Math 261 Applied Calculus 1 students. I'm going to go over daily problem 1.4. All right, let me download this. This one. I'll create a new note. All right, let's do this. Where's my app? All right, by determining f prime of x, and here I'm giving you this limit definition of derivative. Now, I just noticed something. This little apostrophe shouldn't be in here. So let me just delete this. I don't know what that was doing in there. So what we're going to have to do here is we're going to have to find the difference quotient, simplify it, and then plug in h equals 0, and then plug in h equals 0. That is how we can find the derivative. By the time you guys are probably, well, I'm recording this on November 2nd, and we already talked about power rule, quotient rule, product rule, all these, like even chain rule today. We talked about all these different rules, but in the very beginning, remember, we used the formal definition, right? So this is a section where algebra is pretty heavy, but as long as you know how to expand, if you know how to FOIL and distribute, you should be able to do this, okay? Let's go ahead and do this together. So I want you to make a little note on the side, please. You will very often have to expand x plus h squared. And very often I see students doing that, saying that this is equal to x squared plus h squared. And that is not true, right? That is not true. In order for you to expand this, I want you to try to write it out as x plus h times x plus h and FOIL it and multiply it out. You're going to get x squared plus x times h, which is xh. And then you're going to get h times x, which is hx, but let me write it as xh. And lastly, h squared. And I can combine these two xh. I have two of them, so that will be 2xh plus h squared. So make a note, because you will see this very often. Note that x plus h squared is x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. This is what we're going to use pretty often, okay? And in this problem too. I just have it memorized, so anytime I see it, I just write it down. So let's go ahead and jump into this problem. So they want you to find f prime of x using this limit definition. So write that definition first. Say that f prime of x is equal to limit as h approaches 0 of this difference quotient. And difference quotient is f of x plus h minus f of x. And we're going to divide that by h. All right. I want you to be a good writer in this class. I want you to write down all the work step by step so that I can keep up with your reasoning. If you go straight from here to, f prime of x equals 4x, that is you using power rule. I know you can do that, but in this specific section, 1.4, remember I asked you to use the limit definition. So we're going to have to do some work here. So first of all, let me go ahead and find what f of x plus h is by plugging in this x plus h into x. That's the only place I see h, right? And I want you to keep on writing this limit notation. Limit as h approaches 0. Keep on writing it until you actually plug in h equals 0, okay? If I plug in x plus h in here, I'm going to get 2 times x plus h squared minus 3, right? What I just wrote is f of x plus h. That's what it is. I just wrote that much. Right? I need to keep on going. I need to do minus, right? Minus f of x. Minus f of x. F of x is 2x squared minus 3. And did you just see that I put this in a parenthesis? Because when you are doing difference quotient, you are subtracting. Difference means you are subtracting. So you will have to distribute this negative, this subtracting sign to everything that's in f of x. And to prevent making a sign mistake, I want you to put them in a parenthesis, okay? Now I'm going to go ahead and simplify this. Limit, and you keep on writing this. Take a look at this part for me, this part right here. I'm going to have to FOIL this first. But we know what x plus h squared is already. We did it over here. So I'm going to go ahead and say, keep that 2 alone for right now. Inside the parenthesis, write down x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. That is what x plus h squared is. What else is there after? Minus 3. Let me distribute that negative sign. So that will come out to be negative 2x squared. And then what? Negative times negative. That's going to give me positive 3. All over still h. H is still waiting. Now I'm going to distribute that 2. Distribute this 2 very carefully to all these 3 terms inside the parenthesis. I will have 2x squared plus 2 times 2x. 2xh is what? 4xh plus 2h squared. And just write down the rest of them the same. All right. I'm going to use my highlighter to circle some opposite terms. I see there is 2x squared. Do you see there is negative 2x squared? They will cancel out. They're gone. All right. What else? There is negative 3. And there is positive 3. So those are gone too. Should I still write my limit? Yes, because I did not plug in h equals 0 just yet. Now I have 4xh plus 2h squared all over h. Okay? Now notice something for me. They both have h on the numerator. Okay? So I can divide everything by h. I can divide everything by h. So what I will get is I will get 4x, h is gone, plus 2h. It used to be h squared, but h squared divided by h is going to be h. That's why 2 still has h next to it. Now this is time for us to plug in that 0. So last thing that you're going to do, easiest part, plug in this 0 into h. So this is equal to 4x plus 2 times 0, which comes out to be just 4x. So we found it. The derivative of f of x, is 4x. And you know about the power rule now. So you can simply start by looking at f of x is 2x squared minus 3. And using the power rule, just to check your answer, because at this section, I do want you to show me all this work. You can say that f prime of x is, you multiply this exponent by the coefficient. That's why it becomes 4x. And that is going to be 4x to the first power, right? Because you go down by 1. 4x and then minus 3. The derivative of negative 3 is just 0. So you can write that or just say f prime of x is 4x. So these are the same thing. But we learned about power rule in section 1.5 or 1.6. So when you guys are doing this daily problem, it's very important that I see all that good work. Okay? Alrighty, let's go ahead and use this derivative function to find f prime of 2. What are we finding though? What we are finding is we're finding the slope of the tangent line at x equals 2. That's what we are finding. That's what this derivative will find us. So f prime of 2 is simply 4 times 2. So you got the slope to be 8. Why did I ask you to find the slope? Well, let's see. Because now I'm going to ask you to find the equation of a tangent line. Now, to find an equation of a tangent line, you need 3 things. So write down those 3 things. You need m, the slope, x, and y. We just found m. The slope is 8. The slope is 8. We just found it. X is 2. Luna. And y. Let's find y value. Right. To find y, find f of 2. Don't plug in 2 into the derivative function. You need to plug in 2 into the original function. So when I'm plugging that in, I'm sorry my baby is crying, but I think I'm almost done. So I'll just finish recording this. 8 minus 3, I get the y value is 5. And remember we talked about how we can use the point slope form, which is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. We got x1 and y1 value. So that will be y minus 5 equals 8 times x minus 2. And if you want to distribute and rewrite this in slope-intercept form, you just have to distribute and add 5. So the slope-intercept form will be 8x minus 11. But I think on your exam, first exam, I am perfectly happy with point slip form. But that is how you will do 1.4 daily problem. I got upset with, didn't get upset. I took off points for people who didn't show any work for like this, like seriously. Some people just went straight from here to there, like the final answer. They were missing this much work in between. So please don't do that, okay? I will take major points off if you skip work on a problem where I'm asking you to find the derivative using the limit definition, where you have to do the difference quotient and everything. So let me know if you need to see any other problems, because our exam is coming up soon. You guys are signing up for your exam, your first exam. So anyways, I'm going to stop recording.